First of all, okay.
Uh-oh. Hello?
Yeah, Dan, this is Jeff. I think we lost him or something.
Shoot.
We lost him, but I think he's coming back to us. One moment.
You threw me for a loop on this Zoom stuff. Oh. But okay, so I will call the audit committee meeting to order. I want to welcome Porter Bennett to this committee. And Dan Trost and Meg Peterson are continuing on the committee. So to start out, is there any public comment to be made within the jurisdiction of our audit committee? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Is that correct, Savannah? Then the next item of business would be approval of the December 6, 2022 meeting minutes of the committee. Has everybody had a chance to read those committee meeting minutes?
Yes.
And do I have a motion?
Moved by Trost.
Okay, Dan Trost has moved. I'll tell you what, Porter, I'll second the motion. So we have a second for the motion. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You okay? You okay with that, Porter?
Yes, so I said I thought.
Okay, all right. Okay, so the minutes have been approved. The next item is executive director comments. I take it Dan is up at the Capitol.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. And if that's the case, why don't I turn it over to Julie for comment on that she would make. Okay, Julie, is that okay?
Well, Peggy, was there anything that Dan wanted you to mention before I get started?
He just wanted to make sure that you could speak to the schedule for the Whitley.
Yeah. So I am Julie Feldman. I'm the financial manager for the Board of Investments, and we'll go ahead and get started. Within your packet, you'll find an audit checklist. This checklist will be provided and updated for each audit committee meeting. With the start of the new calendar year, the information that was pertaining to calendar year 21 was removed from the checklist. So we're starting with a fresh checklist this year. There's just a few things on the checklist that I wanted to highlight for your attention. And if there's any questions, just go ahead and ask or stop me. But for fiscal year 22 annual report, that was posted to BOI's website prior to BOI's statutory deadline, which was December 31st. Regarding our fiscal year 23 SOC report, we actually had a meeting with Whitley yesterday to begin the planning stage for this audit. This is an audit that looks at our internal controls, and we'll complete the planning stage with Whitley sometime in March. Whitley will be doing walkthroughs with us for 3 days in June, and then they will be doing testing in July for a week. Most of that walkthroughs and testing will be remotely, but they are hoping to have 1 or 2 individuals actually on site for the testing in July. For the 2023 ethics statement, all BOI staff have signed the ethics policy for 2023. As part of BOI's regular onboarding process, new staff are asked to sign at that time. And then all voting members of the board will be asked to sign the ethics policy for 2023 during this meeting. Savannah will be sending each of you a DocuSign with the ethics policy to sign. We also included in your packet the ethics statement that you can look at. Moving on to the financial audit reports. Within your packet, you'll find a couple pages which are an excerpt from the Legislative Audit Division's report. The Legislative Audit Division's audit reports are posted to their website. This excerpt summarizes LAD's work and their opinions that they issued. BOI produces 2 financial statements that are audited by the Legislative Audit Division, one for the Unified Investment Program and one for the Enterprise Program. And we receive a separate audit opinion on each of those statements. The Unified Investment Program covers the investment activity managed by the Board of Investments on behalf of the participants. The investment policy activity pertains to the consolidated asset pension pool, the short-term investment pool, the trust funds investment pool, and the separately managed assets. The second statement that is audited by the Legislative Audit Division is our enterprise fund statement. This statement, the primary focus is the InterCap program, which provides a revolving loan program to local government and state agencies. The BOI audits for both the Unified Investment Program and the Enterprise Fund will be presented to the next Legislative Audit Committee. It may be sometime during this session, or it may be in June. At this time, we have not received notification from the Legislative Audit Division as to the date of when that meeting will occur. We received unmodified opinions from LAD on both of these statements with an audit date of December 1st of 2022. And LAD actually allowed for the early release of these audits in January of 2023. Typically, they're not released until they're heard from the Legislative Audit Committee. However, these statements were needed to comply with BOI's continuing disclosure requirements related to the Montana Facility Finance Authority program. Any questions?
I've got kind of a small one, but the grading that you get is 0. What is the scale? How does that work? What does that grade signify? I assume it means don't do anything, neutral, is that?
Porter, on where are you referring to with the 0?
Oh, in the audit division, your the summary of the financial compliance audit.
Okay.
Down at the bottom, it says recommendations.
Yeah, what that means, Porter, is if the Legislative Audit Division had recommendations for us, they would be spelled out in their audit report. And so having 0 recommendations from the Legislative Audit Report is actually a very good thing.
Okay, so that's the number of recommendations then.
Correct. So we had no deficiencies in internal control. We had no significant weaknesses noted, and we had no recommendations on either audit.
Good, thank you.
Okay, I was muted. I don't know how I got muted. So Julie, the reason that we get early release for the Montana Facility Finance Authority is for bonding purposes, state bonding purposes?
Yeah, there is a guarantee that is provided to facility finance on,
Right.
and so as part of that guarantee, there has to be some continuing disclosure in regards to the EMMA disclosure, which is where municipal bonds when you have municipal bonds that are issued, there has to be reporting within the EMA system and program. So as part of that reporting, the BOI audits need to be included.
Okay, so BOI or the state of Montana is guaranteeing on behalf of municipal, the bonds that they're issuing. Is that correct?
Not all of the bonds, Mark. There's just a certain percentage of their bonds, and those bonds that go through and get the guarantee from BOI actually go in front of BOI's board.
Okay.
BOI's board considers those loans. And
Okay.
Louise could probably speak more directly and in greater detail to this program.
Okay, and I don't know, Louise, maybe you're gonna cover that when you go over your material, so we don't have to cover it now. Okay, anything else, Julie?
No, that's all I had, Mark, unless there's other questions. I'd be
Okay.
happy to answer them.
Okay, you have anything, Peggy, that you need to add? Okay, all right. So Julie, on the SOC audit, Whiffley has been doing this. Do we have a long-term contract with them, like a 7-year contract with them to perform this, or what's the status there?
We do have a contract with Whipfly. Mark, let me look at the audit checklist, and I think I've got how long their contract will run.
Okay. Well, that's okay. If you come up with it, you can let us know.
Okay.
I was just wondering. Okay, anything else from any committee members? Now, later on, we're going to be, in the main board meeting, there's some information that Dan Villa shared on the continuous, the COOP plan. And you made reference to it here. Is anything that we need to be aware of from the audit committee standpoint on the COOP plan?
No, Mark, we have routinely done a work from home periodically throughout the year. We're ensuring that our systems for the staff are working, that we have connectivity, that we have the updates that are needed. We also have on the BOI building, we have satellite linkage. So if Charter phone system is down, which provides service for the state of Montana, is down, we'd have the satellite link that we could still have access. And so we've got some redundancies built into our system as part of our COOP.
Okay, okay. All right, good.
Mark, your question on the Whipfly contract, the current contract expires May 31st, 2025.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions from any committee members?
I had a question. I was looking at your summary of that study that Whipfly's doing on your ability to withstand an event. Do you guys require anything like that out of your major trading partners? I was noticing the guys that you're trading a bunch, the people, your counterparties that you're working with, do you have kind of obligations for them that they have to maintain those kind of security and redundancies?
Yeah, one of the things that we do, Porter, is as part of a regular annual review, we actually look to the service organizations that are providing services to us, such as our custodial bank, Bloomberg Trading, and others. We ask for a SOC report from them. We routinely review those SOC reports that we are getting from our service organizations providing services to us. We're looking to see if there's any deficiencies noted in those reports. We do note that on the checklist that those reviews are done on an annual basis. The other thing that we do, Porter, and it'll be addressed later on in the regular meeting, we talk about our cash management system. We have a partnership with the Department of Administration. US Bank, our custodial bank, State Street Bank, and the depository bank, which is the state's depository bank, which is US Bank. So Polly and will be providing that update later in the regular meeting. But we do look at those relationships on an annual basis, if not very frequently in an annual perspective.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions from the committee members? Seeing none, I'm going to call the audit committee meeting closed.
Well, Mark, this is a new record. Obviously, Dan takes up